Here with me today is the member of the German parliament from the country's left party, Sevim Dagdelen. Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
You are the first and, as far as I know so far, the only MP to have visited Julian Assange at the Ecuadorian embassy in London, where he's been held up after he was granted political asylum. Why did you do that, and why you think your colleagues have overlooked the issue?
Well, I think many of my colleagues, they are afraid to visit Julian Assange because already there is a campaign going on in the mass media to present Julian Assange as a normal criminal, which is ridiculous because I think Julian Assange has a very much done a historical thing because of the decovering of war crimes done by US Army in Afghanistan and Iraq. And that's what I was getting at when I visited him in London, to show solidarity.
As I understand, you don't consider him a criminal, right?
I'm not the court. I think Julian Assange has to go to court or has to have the opportunity to say in freedom and to give the answers to the reply of for the Swedish side, but that means that he has to have the guarantee not to extradite to the US.
Do you think currently he has no guarantees?
No, the Sweden and Great Britain, they do not give the guarantee to not extradite him to the US.
And what if he is extradited to the United States?
The US is not the best example to do everything in a good way in the case of justice. So we do have a death penalty in the US, and we do have lots of prisoners which are waiting for the death penalty or are for life long term in prison. And we have the example Bradley Manning, and Julian Assange is concerning about the health of Bradley Manning and his case, but he always is afraid that he will have the same fate if he will be extradited to the US. I do not think that Julian Assange has done something wrong when he was decovering the US war crimes. Normally it's a really duty of everyone, it's a human duty to decover war crimes. So that is done by Julian Assange, and I think in a way he deserves the Nobel Prize for Peace, but not the prison in the US.
Since your visit to Assange, the US has declared him an enemy of state. He's in the same tier now with Al-qaeda and Taliban. Do you think he can be hunted down right now, captured or even killed by the US?
It's possible. I mean, you never know how people react on this declaration of the US, the head of the US, that he is the enemy, that he is, he should be seen like the Taliban or other terrorists.
And what are Julian Assange's main concerns? Did he express to you how he thinks where the situation is going?
Well, I met him in a very, very good mood, especially in a very good psychological mood. He is a very strong person, and he is very self-confident and confident about this, what he has done. He knows that was right, and the only thing is that he would like to live as a free man, and got the opportunity to give his replies to the Swedish government and the security in Sweden.
Is he optimistic?
Well, he hopes that he will soon get the opportunity to reply on these accusations as done by the Swedish side, and therefore he hopes that he will get a guarantee from Great Britain and Sweden that he will not be extradited to the US.
Few people have actually seen the conditions in which Julian Assange lives these days at the embassy. We only have been hearing that there is a very small room, a telephone and internet connection. So could you please give us an idea what living conditions are? there?
Well, the living conditions are very hard because the embassy is so small. He has got his own room, and there are some other rooms where he can move as well. His opportunity to watch TV as well, as far as I know, and he has got a shower and everything you need, actually.
You mentioned Bradley Manning. I know you had plans to visit him as well, and you actually support and sympathize with someone who also was declared as an enemy of state by America. Do you really believe you will be allowed to see him?
Well, I do have my plans. Unfortunately, the US Embassy in Berlin, they cannot help me in visiting Bradley Manning. I will try my best now through the German Embassy in Washington, D.C. and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Germany. Probably they, or hopefully they can help me to get my aim to visit Bradley Manning.
And why do you think the cases of Bradley Manning, of Julian Assange are important?
It's unfair to put him in prison over about 800 days without any charge. So, and this is totally unacceptable. Totally unacceptable. In a democracy, you cannot just, put someone into prison and torture him. And this is what the UN said about Bradley Manning. He was tortured by the U.S. Army in the prison where he was, and this is not acceptable. And we have to stand up for human rights.
Do you think the situation might change after the elections in the U.S.?
Well, I'm afraid that there will be no change. The actual president, Barack Obama, he won his campaign with his saying about the change. So he promised a change in the US, but the thing is, the fact is that he was doing the same like George Bush. He has his extra-legal killings, he has the crimes, he has the war crimes, and he has Guantanamo and everything else what George Bush done before Barack Obama. So it will be the same. It's not you're just changing the persons, but the policy is going on. I got lots of, like really hundreds of emails and letters from people all over the world which are supporting and giving me the strength to go further and do some work like this, what I've done, and they are supporting me in being really interested in real human rights issues and fighting for human rights of someone like Bradley Manning.
You were criticized in your country and internationally for signing a petition accusing the US of preparing a war against Syria and Iran.
We do have an asymmetrical war against Syria done by Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Turkey, for example, and Turkey as the front state of the NATO. And the NATO member states like Germany, Great Britain, France, they have sent their services, the secret services, to Syria to, for example, to help the Free Syrian Army to make the regime change. A regime change policy is against international law, and this is what we have signed. We would like to protect the international law in the international relations, and that means no to the regime change policy.
You also said in an interview to a German newspaper that under the terms of the international law, I'm quoting, Turkey and US and German supporters are actually the aggressor. That it was after Turkey attacked Syrian targets following some mortar shells from the Syrian side. Is that true? You really consider them as aggressors? Well,
Turkey is giving place at the border to Syria to the Free Syrian Army, firstly. Secondly, they have guaranteeing the Free Syrian Army weapons, they have guaranteed and give them the opportunity to educate themselves in educational camps for fighting. And I mean, this is against international law. Okay, they are not openly making the war against Syria, but there's a secret that asymmetric war going on against Syria. And this is not acceptable.
As a member of parliament, I guess you've questioned your government about its support of the militarized wing of the Syrian opposition. Do you think Berlin is going in the right direction in trying to resolve the crisis in Syria?
No, they are a cause of the problem too, because the Secret Service, the BND, is working in Syria. We do know that they are in Syria and giving advices to groups which are connected to the Free Syrian Army, to one part of the war, I think. And that's why I think it's very, very, well, for the German government, it's very unfortunate that they are taking part in this war against Syria.
What proofs do you have?
Well, we made a questionnaire to the German government, and we do it from the media that the BND is giving advices and information about the moves of the security forces by the regime in Syria. The German government was not denying this. I'm very sad and very upset about the situation that my government, the German government, is not helping to get a solution to the war in Syria. No, it's doing the opposite. It's a part of the problem there in Syria and is acting against international law. It's part of the war of Syria and is part of the aggression against Syria, and this makes me sad and upset. We are in solidarity with the people, the peace and freedom-loving people in Syria and in Iran. But we are doing everything against a war.
Ms. Dagdelen, thank you very much for your time, and I wish you very good luck with what you do.
Well, it was my pleasure.